Thank you for tuning in to yet another Showtime and Kev podcast. I am the very lovely and wonderful Cory Showtime Robinson.
And I'm Kevin Munroe.
And this is the melodious baritone of the dearly departed Nate Dogg. Please let it play just for a second so we can all appreciate it.
Shout out to Nate Dogg.
Shout out to Nate Dogg, man.
By the way, I've been listening to G Child, The Best of Warren G. That just tells you how much I've given up on these modern motherfuckers. Like, I've just given up.
You know how they say, like, you refuse to get older? Like, Kevin refuses to get any younger. Like, nah, I'm staying in my lane, son. This is the music I like. I'm good. Get off my lawn.
I like G-Funk. Thank you very much.
I understand. That was some good shit. And Nate Dogg, like, man, it sucks that he's gone, but I think we talked about this earlier, like, off the camera, of course. I feel like there should be some kind of a generator that...
Wait, hang on one second. We haven't done the intro.
Oh. Kevin, would you please give your island intro, please?
In the name of the one called Emperor Selassie, I come from the tribe of Judah, King of Kings, and Santa Cruz Reggae Music Festival with the Ross. Got to go on up in this piece, Lord of Mercy. Brakashak, book, yaga yow, boop, enough shots are gone. Boy, you wipe your bottom with banana leaves, warrant you.
That sounds very itchy. Okay.
but the weird thing about this, like, Best of War G shit is, like, he's singing the hook and everybody in the main bridge is saying rest in peace to him.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like, it's like a funeral where they're, like, propping up the dude that's dead.
Well, that's what I was getting to. Like, Nate Dogg was such an instrumental, no pun intended, part of, like, the whole G-Funk era. Like, you could just put his voice on any good, bad, or indifferent rap song, and it would have him sing the hook, and that is going to go platinum.
Yeah. I mean, this should have a best of Nate Dogg, like, you know, the world's greatest hooks, like I've got hoes in different area. Nate Dogg and Warren G. Have to
feel
regulate.
like, why should that have to stay with what we already have? We should be able to create more. We should just have, like, some DJs should just be able to put Nate Dogg's voice into the computer and just press a couple buttons and make a whole song out of it.
Okay, Nate Dogg forever. Okay, that's I'm not so sure about this. I mean, okay, now there's the thing, like, when you're in the entertainment business, there's this thing where you agree to sign your likeness in for perpetuity. So
that means forever.
Yeah, forever. Yeah, I'm assuming my listeners are smart people, but no, okay, fine.
Mine aren't. That means forever. Forever.
Yeah. So it is possible that they could do something like that, where they could put Nate Dogg's voice into a system and just keep, like, running it. But it gets weird. Like, I don't know if you saw Star Wars Rogue One, where they had this one actor, Peter Cushing. He was in Empire Strikes Back, and he died in 1994. And they took his face and put it on a person's body, and he acted out that movie. And Disney got a lot of shit for that, because they're like, that dude is dead. You can't be, like, putting words in dudes' mouths like
it's
that.
It's like, contract, yes, we can.
Right, yeah.
And we will.
Disney has hella lawyers.
You don't like it? Sue us. By the time you even think you're going to get some money, you will have spent all your money. So go for it.
In the meantime, we're going to have your great-grandmother tap dancing in the next movie. So what you going to do about that?
Shuffling off to Buffalo, there's nothing you can do.
No, worse. We have your great-grandmother twerking with Miley Cyrus.
Well, one of them should have, like, between the two of them, one of them should have some ass. Anyway. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Deep fakes are a thing, and so I think there should be a good thing for it, to where we can just, you know, keep Nate Dogg going forever, instead of, like, you know, putting people on bodies and making them look like they did shit.
Okay, so you know what deep fakes are?
Yeah.
What's a deep fake?
It's when, like, it's kind of like what they did for Forrest Gump, you know, when they superimposed him into all those historical things, and so, like, they could use that to fake somebody out, like saying, "Oh, this happened, but it really didn't."
Right. So they basically superimpose a person's face onto a body that's acting, and then that turns into a thing.
Dude, have you seen the one where they put, like, Mike Tyson's face on all the cast of Family Matters?
Yeah, that's
it's terrifying.
Super disturbing.
It's very disturbing. I guess it's funny, but it's just more creepy.
I mean, first of all, it's because of Mike Tyson. Yeah. I mean, that's always terrifying.
He's always he's a great person, but, like, he's still very intimidating because we know who he is.
No. Mike will always be terrifying to me.
Yes, he's knocked out everyone you know.
There was that one story of him talking to Eve. Remember Eve?
Yeah.
Eve. And she was part of that Rough Riders crew. And he walked up and said some foul shit, and the whole crew was like, "All right, one of us is gonna have to tell him that he can't do that. Like, and niggas were drawing straws. Like,
Yeah. These are all people that are supposedly armed at the time, and they're like, I don't think I'm gonna get a bullet off faster than Mike can get that jab off, man.
And they asked him like, well, did he have a crew? He's like, nah, he was dolo.
Yeah, and that's
dolo.
That's even scarier, honestly. Like Mike Tyson just roll up to you and do some foul shit. Like, what you gonna do? Like, nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, so the point of the matter is, deep fakes are a real thing, and that signing into in perpetuity is a problem.
Yes.
Like they put Princess Leia, they put Carrie Fisher in that
In
last
perpetuity. So
Yeah.
she'll be in the next Star Wars, whether she likes it or not, because she's dead.
I mean, what's to stop them from, like, I don't know, like putting you in the next like Soul Plane 3 or something?
Paying me? Like, I'm alive. Like, they would have, that's what's stopping them right now. Like, if he's dead, we can get him for cheap. But right now, I was like, nah.
That's just fucking weird, man.
All right. So should we get into some of our topics for what we got going on?
Okay, topic. So the first one is Jay-Z and the NFL.
Yes.
Let's talk about this.
This has divided black people specifically on my timeline because
I have not seen this division since MLK versus Malcolm X. Like, it's that level.
it's serious. It's a big deal. Like, black people are upset, and black people are upset that people are upset.
Right.
And I'm so on the fence. It's hard because, like, if Jay-Z does prove to be doing something so like foul and like selling us out to where we got to boycott Jay-Z, that's literally half the music in my phone.
Yeah. I was just listening to Tom Ford as I was coming over here. You know, it's tough, man. I mean, Hard Knock Life. I mean, the guys dropped jewels after jewels, you know, for decades. So it's gonna be hard to.
And his recent track record has nothing that would say this deal isn't on the up and up. Like, he's got a lot of people out of prison. Meek Mill for one of them. He helped.
Right.
Like, he was on Kaepernick's side and helping him out whatever he needed. There was a lot of other things. Like, he's done a lot of philanthropy that's like actually very quiet. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing it because he wanted people like to benefit, not because the PR.
Well, you know why people are pissed off? Is because everybody knows the NFL is foul as fuck.
Completely.
And to have somebody be like, I'm going to shake hands with these dirty ass country club white dudes.
But not only that, it's the choice of wording that, like, I was, when the topic first came out, I saw the headline and I'm like, I'm on Jay-Z's side, just for the simple fact that, like, I've seen what he's done and I just can't afford for this as in my life to be like, no, say it ain't show, man. But, like, so I immediately was on Jay-Z's side. But then I watched the interview and I saw what he was saying and I saw how he said it. When he said we're past kneeling, I'm like, bro, that's not your call to make.
Right. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't like you weren't the one that was getting the death threats. And I'm not saying Jay-Z isn't philanthropic. He definitely is.
But that's beside the point. I mean, you're absolutely right about that not kneeling part. Look, I mean, the reason unions don't partner. Right, unions are adversaries.
Yeah.
Right, you don't get shit done by breaking bread and sitting down at the table. You get shit done by fighting these motherfuckers. That's why unions. That's why there's a labor union.
Yeah, because you have to oppose the bosses that are trying to do what they can do in their best
Exactly. If
interest.
you get in a partnership, that means that you effectively sold out.
If you need to unionize, it's because your bosses are tyrannical and they're fucking you over.
So I mean, the NFLPA's got to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude?
Yeah.
You know, I don't give a fuck if he's gonna do the halftime show. Like, all right, cool, you and Bay do the halftime show. But
his job is supposed to be like he's going to be like a talent coordinator, but he's also supposed to be like community outreach and social activism and all that stuff. But what bothers me is he never talked to Colin Kaepernick or any of the football players that were protesting. He didn't like see what their side of the thing would be. And the man that started this whole Colin Kaepernick started this whole thing down, like started the whole ball rolling down the line. And you don't even
speak right now.
Yeah, you can't even consult the man on like what he should at least be on this committee.
He's not even at the table.
Yeah, like we already know he's never gonna play again, but you can't even have him on that committee to like decide what would be best. To go from there.
Cap is like a reverse Kurt Warner. Like he went from a Super Bowl contender, now he's bagging groceries.
Nah. He's like he's got like $25 million from Nike and an undisclosed amount from the NFL. And it's funny because I'm watching when you watch people's arguments over, Colin Kaepernick ain't even got nothing to do with this. He already got his money. Why are we still arguing? Like, dude, why did he get his money?
Well, NDA, non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, well, you can't disclose it, but like, why would the NFL settle if they didn't think that this was worth it? Like, if they were completely in the right and he did something wrong, why would they settle?
Yeah.
Why would they pay him anything? Why would they pay Eric Reed anything?
Yeah, I mean, they're notorious for stiffing people. Like, hey, like right now, Ezekiel Elliott's sitting on the sidelines. He's like the second best running back in the league, and they're like, nah, we won't deal with you.
Yeah. Oh, and here's another thing. Like, Eric Reed, the lesser known of the two. Also, like, our former safety. That dude's been getting drug tested every week without fail since the kneeling thing.
Oh yeah. They've definitely been
those random drug tests have come to him a lot.
Right. I mean, this is not packing peanuts in your car kind of harassment. This is some real shit.
Like, this is proof that there is an absolute harassment and like we don't want you here type situation where they had to pay both of them. Right. So Jay-Z is circumventing all of that. Like, he's just stepping past all that. He's like, I partner with the NFL. That's behind us. Let's talk about what we're going to do next. That's pretty much what he said.
Yeah, he's wallpapering it. But I have a really important question. How is it that Jay-Z can grow dreads at his age? I mean, like, my dude, like...
I'm sure he has stress, but he probably doesn't have that many worries. You know what I mean?
I mean, come on, man. Like, I've been trying to grow my shit for years now, and this is it. Like, this is not, you can't see this. This is all audio. But
no, we're still on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, fine. But I'm just saying, like, how does he have, like, a full head of dreads? Like, come on.
I don't know.
Is that shit taped on?
It could be. I don't know. He's got enough money to have, he's got more money than LeBron, so he has enough money to have the deluxe package of that weave.
That's some barbershop sorcery right there.
That is sorcery. That is alchemy. That's actually alchemy. You're close.
Barbershop sorcery. I'll trust no 40-year-old motherfucker with dreads like that. Come on, man. There's some tape under that. But but the point is, like, he's been brought in, like, in the Caribbean. This is what happened when the British wanted to, like, make people quiet. Mm-hmm. They would hire, like, one colored person to be in charge.
Yeah.
And not only to tell people, oh, see, we like colored people, but also to spy.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, okay, here's a piece of paper. Tell me a list of all the football players you think are going to be trouble. Right?
Yeah.
And that's his job now. He's basically a lackey.
He's still got Rock Nation Sports, so he's still got that sports agency too. So he's still got players that play for him. So it's kind of a conflict of interest. And then furthermore, he's also becoming a symbol that the NFL can use against the players that are still on Colin Kaepernick's side and still kneeling and whatnot, because it's already happened. Like with Kenny Stills in Miami, he voices disapproval of Jay-Z being in the job that he is, and then the next day at practice, his coach, who's also black, blasts Jay-Z for like 8 straight songs in practice, and then when
this happened?
Yeah, and when the media confronted him about it, he said, dude's been fucking up. Well, not in those words, but, dude's been fucking up. He hasn't been focused and whatnot. This is to make sure you can maintain focus. And then also, before that, he qualified it like, yeah, I'm black. I grew up in Brooklyn, all this, that, and the other. And it's like, you're towing the line for the NFL to make this not a race thing when it very much is.
Right. I mean, it's absolutely started as a race thing. It still is a race thing.
Yes.
And as all white people will tell you, it's not about race. So.
Exactly. I have T-shirts that say it's not about race, though. $20
but
on my website.
we need to bring that segment back. But the problem is, like, most of the stuff you do is like that. So it's like, how do we make that a segment?
No, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Like you said, it's not about race, but that's like, who is the one saying that?
If anybody has an idea of how to make this show better, please contact Cory.
No, we're doing great. Kevin, don't be shitting on the work we putting in here.
It's just because we've been talking about making that a segment for a while, but then we always end up doing it anyway. So
why make it? We'll do that. We'll fix it in post.
This will all be erased. You don't have to listen to that part.
No, but I'm saying though, like, that's just how it is. Like, it's hard to make it a segment in America when like it's never a segment. It's life.
Yeah, it just seemed to be like a continuous thing.
Technically, you've been in this country longer than I have, Kevin. You've seen it.
Maybe I've been here longer than you. Hey, I'm not that old, motherfucker.
I didn't say you were, but I'm saying you got here before I was born.
Yeah, I came here and I was the last slave to get off the ship. It's all good.
God damn, you ain't that old. I was trying to cover for you. So you are older than me, but you ain't that fucking old.
Low,
it could have been 2 years, but
chariot.
Shit. Tell on yourself, shit.
I'm the last Juneteenth person.
What are your thoughts on this whole thing? What do you think Jay-Z is really up to? Because he doesn't necessarily need the money, but we don't know how much money they're offering him.
I think he wants to buy a team.
Yeah.
I really think he wants to buy a team, and this is his way of like, hey, I'll clean up your mess right now. Don't forget me. when one of these old ass white people die and you need to sell his team.
But here's how.
So, you know what I'm saying?
But even if that is a snaky ass, underhanded way for Jay-Z to get a team, that just shows you just how deep the wealth inequality is between races. Because Jay-Z and Beyonce are over $1 billion, but if they bought a team, that would wipe them out. That would be absolutely 100% of all their assets.
Right.
So, like, in order to buy a team, like Steve Ballmer's worth like what, $70 billion or some shit like that.
Yeah, he's got a Microsoft
$4 billion
money.
to buy, like, no, $2 billion to buy the Clippers is nothing.
Yeah, for him that's like a Sprint PCS bill. Like, oh shit, I forgot about that. I got to pay that. There you go.
Yeah.
$2 billion.
Yeah, Jay-Z has maybe $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to put it meager or anything like that. I don't even have close to maybe $1,000 right now. But I'm saying, like, he's.
You're listening to the Broadcast podcast.
Nah, nigga, I have bills and shit is coming. You know how this shit goes. But I'm saying, like, Jay-Z doesn't have anywhere near the amount. That puts it in perspective of how the mega billionaires are. You know
they're so far ahead of everybody else that it's not even close.
Yeah.
But I think he's setting himself up so in the future.
Oprah has $3 billion.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Remember that old joke? I think it was Paul Mooney said that if Bill Gates woke up with Oprah's money, he'd jump out a window.
No, that was Chris Rock.
That was Chris Rock? Oh, yeah. He'd jump out a fucking window.
He said if Bill Gates woke up with Oprah's money, he'd fucking murder himself. I understand. Yeah. Because that's like 70, that's 70 times less than what he already has.
But so here's the theory. The theory is that for black people, we need to get a seat at the table. So we have to engage with these people, right? So that's the sell he's saying. It's like, look, we can stand outside and protest, or we can get some money and get at the table.
Yes.
But at the same time, by the time you get to that table, you've been so compromised.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been so like swaddled and coddled and washed.
Yeah.
Do you even remember why you were there at the table at that time?
You arise another good question, man. Like, what is the end game? You know what I mean? We started protesting, and one of the things that I absolutely agree with Jay-Z, like he said, we're past kneeling. I didn't agree with the past kneeling part, but he said, what comes next? I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, what do we do now? Like, you can still kneel, but like, what are we looking to have change? And to me, I'm thinking, like, unless the NFL is going to absolutely take a stance against police brutality, which they ain't going to do.
No,
just like they absolutely going to take
no.
Let they
hell
absolutely
no.
Of course not. And
why would they do that? I mean, like knucklehead cops watch football too, and they love this shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
Funny thing is, I think I'm making up my mind as I'm starting to make this argument. But like, they ain't gonna do that. And then you also look at, okay, well, maybe we should just bring light to the racial disparities, especially with the all-black league. They ain't gonna do that.
Right.
So I'm thinking the least they could possibly do is get marijuana off the banned substances list, because honestly, I feel like that's one of the most racist rules in sports.
I just think you have a special interest in marijuana, Cory.
Like, I knew you were gonna pull that bullshit. Let me explain.
We weren't going there at all. How did we get there?
Let me explain. If you're an NFL football player, right, you can beat up your wife and you might get 4 games. Right? You can shoot somebody and they can't prove, and the courts won't put you in jail. Neither will the fucking 2 games. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shit they let go through, and also
you can murder somebody. Like
it's happened several times over.
I'm not going to mention his name. Baltimore Ravens.
Now let me continue. Now, so there's that side of it. Then also you look at all the stuff that happens to these guys health wise. They're smacking heads smacking into each other, going at a combined. Sometimes you're running head to head at a combined speed of about 55 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean,
head-on collision.
It's equivalent of a 30-mile-an-hour collision, like happening like a serious fender bender, happening like 10 times a game at least.
But it's a human body running into another human body, right? So in order to keep these guys on the field, they're giving them opioids out the ass. And if you look at, I was actually watching a
So what do special gummy bears have to do with this?
Let me finish. CBD is a natural
Wait,
the fact that you're laughing right now makes me want to stab you right now, because you're not going to take my shit seriously at all. You're not even letting me get to my point.
This started to sound like those KPFA things were like, and here's how I solved all of my mental problems with CBD oil. Like, come on, man. I mean,
and that dude don't have a point. Let me get to my fucking point, Kevin.
Okay, all right.
So let me see. Where was I before you got all laughing in my face? All right. CBD, THC, they're natural, anti-inflammatories, right?
Yes, that's true.
It brings down the swelling and shit, and it's also great topically. And just the simple fact that you should be able to recreationally get high after a game instead of getting drunk. But if you realize, like, I saw this whole thing on TV about how like there's a discrepancy in the doctor's office where like if you're white and male, you can get opioids like it's no problem for anything. If you're black and female, it's hard to get any kind of painkillers. All right. So in the NFL, they will give you an opioid for everything, and you'll get addicted to that shit. When you can use weed for a painkiller, natural or not, or better yet, just use anything else. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they'll give you that, but they won't let you have weed. Josh Gordon should be on his way to catching up to. Yeah, I appreciate that, Kevin. Josh Gordon should be on his way to catching up with Jerry Rice right now, but he had to miss 4 seasons because he couldn't pass a drug test. Right. All the other shit they do, and they won't let them have weed. That doesn't make fucking sense. The NBA doesn't even test for that shit anymore, hardly.
Yeah, no, man, I'm just being an asshole. Yeah, absolutely, it's ridiculous. They should not be banning people for weed, and Vicodin and things like that destroy your kidneys, and
cortisone shots, like all these other things that they're allowing to happen.
Toradol shots in the ass, all that sort of thing.
And on top of that, they're not paying anything for their CTE. Shit, at least like after your brain has been damaged, you should be able to be docile enough to not kill your fucking self.
There's a great book called Born Sighted. Okay, fine, never mind. But there's a great book about this guy who spent 7 years in the league, and he finally discovered marijuana as a cure for all his ails, and he stopped using Toradol and stuff like that. And he had peers that were taking Toradol and taking Vicodin and things like that, and had kidney problems later on.
Oh, yeah. So you're saying there is some actual science to what the fuck I'm talking about?
I'm not disagreeing. I just
you just wanted to give me shit.
Yeah, because I knew because it's like you did this hard right turn to marijuana, and I'm like, this is not
hard right.
This is not on the list. Like, how did we get here?
Because I'm trying to explain why.
Speaking of weed, like what?
I was trying to say, I don't know what Jay-Z's gonna do that doesn't look self-serving. So if he could do something like that, then I would be on board, because then at least he shows he's giving a shit about the players. Something to that effect, or at least set up some kind of foundation to where players have a pension for I guess 2 seasons or whatever, to where you're not going, you can afford your medicine when you're 40.
Right. I mean, it remains to be seen. I mean, right now it just looks like Rock Nation is just getting leg up and putting the halftime show together, and he's making some money in a partnership, and he's being nice to them so he can eventually own a team.
And it also looks bad because he used to be so much more involved with the league. Remember that running back Larry?
Jay-Z used to be more involved?
Yeah.
When?
When Rock Nation was more of a sports agency.
Oh, okay.
Remember Larry Johnson? He used to play for the Chiefs. He throwing up the dynasty sign and everything.
Yeah.
That was their first dude. He used to have a lot of players. I think he still does.
Larry Johnson beat up some women, by the way.
So you don't say.
I swear to God, man.
And that's not what got him kicked out either.
That's the worst part.
I guarantee you it's because his 40 time went down by a half a second.
Yeah. Punch a girl in the face at Caesar's Palace, nobody cares, right?
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, I always say the second worst thing that could ever, the worst thing that happens to NFL athletes is free time.
Yeah.
You can't trust them.
My favorite ESPN 30
for 30. To learn Parcheesi or something. I don't know what to do.
My favorite ESPN 30 for 30 is broke because it shows you just how, you already know, but it really just spells out how an athlete can go from having tens of millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars, and being broke as shit within 4 years.
Right. Yeah, just don't have your uncle be a manager, okay? Don't do that.
You need one house, you need one car, pay your taxes.
And your child support. I mean, child support is going to kill child support.
Because we all know you ain't just going to have one woman, so pay your child support too.
Pay your baby mamas, man. Don't let them get you.
Pay your bribes early before they get worse.
Now, okay, so switching topics. We had this discussion earlier about cities, the names of cities where we're from. So Cory here is from Seaside,
California,
right?
Affectionately known as Seaside.
Right, and that's the thing. See,
that's how you make it intimidating.
If you read Seaside on a piece of paper, you think, "Oh, this is a great place. I'm going to take my kids and my wife, and we'll have a nice time at Seaside."
If that piece of paper is a map, you would think the exact same thing because it's right. It's like, oh my God, it's a beach.
And what happens in Seaside?
People get killed.
How the fuck can a city named Seaside?
So many murders for such a small town. I don't understand it.
I mean,
I've lost some friends recently. Rest in peace. It sucks. I'm 35. We're still losing people to stupid ass gang shit out there.
Really? People still get shot out there?
Still.
If you're in your 30s and you're still a gangster, what the fuck are you doing with your life, man?
I'm not gonna say nothing because I still gotta go home.
Oh, your friends are listening to this podcast. Oh, that nigga Cory. Next time I
sold
see,
out, man.
Next time I see that nigga,
Nah, but for real,
I'm taking you off my podcast list, motherfucker. From now on, it's just Mark Maron and NPR. Fuck you.
It's just the weirdest. It's the weirdest phenomenon to live in a city that is literally gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful, right? It's in between Monterey and Carmel. If you've never heard of those places, it's because you don't have money, and or you're not any good at golf. And like,
but for some reason, there's like y'all out there banging like it's fucking Compton.
Well, it's because it's a inequality, dude. Like most of the people that got to Seaside. Like, that's kind of like, Fort Ord is what got everybody of any minority there, all right? Okay. Monterey, Carmel, Big Sur, that was always, like, prime real estate because it's on the cliff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to live there. But people were in Seaside, Salinas, like, you're in Salinas for, the fields and whatnot, so that's where you get your Mexican labor and, Latino community. And then Fort Ord was where, like, all the black people came from the military, right? So you get those mixes of people, and then eventually there's going to be a gang. And we in Seaside.
Are you saying there's naturally going to be a gang because there's Mexicans and blacks?
Because of poverty.
Oh, that other thing.
Yeah. Let me get to that first. Thank you for looking your eyes down at me. Yeah, but when
it didn't sound good coming out.
You're right. Thank you. I appreciate you helping me clean that up. It's not because black and Mexican people naturally fight. It's because when you put two brown people next to white people and take away the money, somebody's going to fight someone for something.
Right. Yeah.
That's anywhere in life.
It's pretty standard. I mean, you look at the Irish. I mean, you know, the Irish are, ethnically almost the same as the British, but, they're obviously much...
They're right next to each other. They're neighbors.
Yeah, but, much rougher and tougher group because of the shit they had to go
through. Yeah. In my kickboxing class, there's a British dude, and he talks about how he's always fighting Irish guys. It's like, they love to fight.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's like, so that stereotype's real? He's like, fucking A.
I mean, it's weird to see an Irish guy with like a full set of teeth. Like, guys who knock each other's teeth out all the fucking time. Like, that's not a thing.
I kind of want to do our disclaimer, but they're white. Fuck it, they'll be all right.
This show is now officially canceled. There's a giant white paw just came down and shut the whole thing down. Did
you say a white claw?
A paw? No, it could have been. Speaking of White Claw, by the way,
why is that shit so popular?
It's fucking malt liquor, okay? It's not. It's not seltzer. It is chemically the same thing as Zima or Colt 45. It is literally malt liquor.
Please tell me you do that on stage, because that is gold.
It's true. It's chemically the same as malt liquor, and this is white people malt liquor. They found a way to make it so you don't look like a degenerate drinking the shit in the park like when we were drinking Old English. 800.
If you're on YouTube, you can see my face, but if you're listening to this podcast, I just made the Weebay realization gif.
He did the Weebay. He's like, oh.
Oh my God.
It is malt liquor.
That is Colt 45 for white women. I had no idea.
Exactly. Yo, might as well be drinking that shit out of a paper bag like a degenerate.
Wow. Kevin just solved the riddle. White Claw is malt liquor for white people. That shit is hilarious.
It's absolutely true.
It's malt liquor for people that still have their 401k.
It's chemically exactly the same.
Holy shit, that is a mind on. What were we talking about?
We're talking about dangerous cities, and that's why like malt liquor.
And that's why we're talking about white people.
That's why malt liquor was coming up in my mind because as a kid, like I live in Oakland, which Oakland is a nice sounding city too, right?
Oakland. It sounds like a beautiful forest.
Yeah, but
Land of oaks.
But yeah, we used to have to walk home from high school in groups because you don't want to be that dude that gets punked.
Nope.
So that's
because they will punk you forever.
Oh yeah. Once they take your lunch money, man, they go take your fruit box. Next thing they don't take it.
It's a wrap. It's like a lot of people don't realize that like growing up in like an urban environment, like in any scenario, it just makes you tougher for the simple fact that like people are just gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, all for nothing. Like getting from school to the school bus to your house. Yo, you gotta watch out.
Yeah, like I feel like private school is great. You get a better education, but I feel like every kid should have to do 1 year at a public high school to just learn how to deal with the closest thing to prison you ever want to get.
For real, like the first day they just Yeah. Your first day, they discover your weaknesses and then they exploit them.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second day, they tell all of their friends about your weaknesses and they all show up to exploit them.
And then that becomes a nickname, and that follows you for the rest of your life. Shitty draws.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay.
But
so
yeah, you grew up in Oakland. I grew up in Seaside. And here's the crazy thing about growing up in Seaside. Like we had a lot of gangs. A lot of them were like actually like the same ones. So we had like 3 Crip gangs, 4 Blood gangs, or some shit like that. And like when the OG, triple OGs would like get to where like things were popping too big for Seaside, they would go out to like Oakland and Sacramento, and like it was almost like we were a training ground for like bigger hoods.
Right.
It was the weirdest thing. And then I would go to spots like Sacramento, Oakland, tell people I'm from Seaside, like, oh yeah, I heard about y'all motherfuckers.
Yeah, he said you guys had a reputation for being trifling.
Yeah,
like
very much so.
like women be like, oh yeah, he fucked me and then he stole my purse. Like, what kind of trifling shit is that?
I didn't name any names. I'm just saying that was something that I had to overcome as a man, being from Seaside, that would hit on a young lady from like San Jose and be like, oh, you from Seaside, huh? It's like, shit.
Can't trust y'all for nothing, man.
Oh, well. Made me tougher.
Left me with a baby, took my purse. Like, who the fuck does that's ridiculous, man.
It is, but like, there's way worse shit that could happen to you in like Baltimore, or
I mean, my whole thing being the Bay was like knowing that if don't ever run out of gas in Richmond.
Ooh.
Like don't like if you ever you
Seaside, Oakland, Vallejo, anybody like Richmond, like Nick.
Like, do I need to stop for gas? I'm gonna push this motherfucker. I'm gonna push this shit all the way back to Oakland. I am not stopping in Richmond for gas.
Kevin, you remember Coach Carter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Remember there was a couple people that died in that movie?
Mm-hmm.
It was a Disney movie. That's how fucking dangerous Richmond is. People died in a Disney movie.
That shit is wrong.
About basketball. It was just a movie about how this coach got these young kids from a bad neighborhood and got them, to be disciplined and play basketball and better their lives. And 6 people or some shit got killed in that movie.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's
how deep it is out there. Shout out to Oakland. Please don't. Shout out to Oakland, Richmond, Seaside. Please don't shoot me.
That's your people, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some.
What do you mean, my people?
You
You a nigga too.
You African Americans, you blacks. I
love how you have a South African accent.
I just pulled that from Lethal Weapon 2 anytime and I want to
Only
talk bad.
South Africans put an E in black.
Yeah. Anytime I want to talk shit about black people, I go to Lethal Weapon 2 and I do the South African, these blacks.
You're being more racist than you can even imagine right now.
Oh, it's hilarious, dude. Like I know it's completely offensive. But,
where we changing?
by the way, that's funny. By the way, I was alive during the time when apartheid was a real thing.
Yeah,
and
too.
like back in Trinidad, like in our junior high school, like we had these like rallies against apartheid and stuff like that. And Ronald Reagan was president, and Reagan was like, I don't know, what's the problem? like this is apartheid. Like what? Like now looking back, it's insane that the president of the United States was pro-apartheid and nobody fucking blinked an eye.
And our current president is pro-Nazi, and we're still. What do you? The more things change, the more they stay. Those 8 years with a half black guy were pretty cool, weren't they?
That was tight. That was tight. That was pretty tight. We had a good time, man. Like people were dancing again. Like I took up salsa lessons. It was great. But those times.
My parents got the equity back in their home.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So switching topics. So this is in sports related stuff. So Carmelo Anthony does not have a job.
Unemployed.
Yeah. And Carmelo, he went on ESPN, he talked about it. He said, the reason things didn't work out in Houston is because nobody told me that my role was to be coming off the bench. And I'm like...
I just heard that by headphones.
Like, nigga, why would anyone have to tell you to come off the bench? You got drafted in 2003, motherfucker. Like, of course you're coming off the bench.
In basketball years, you are 86 years old.
You're a fossil. Like, of course you're coming off the bench.
And there are other 86-year-old players out there. Vince Carter, Jared Dudley. There's a lot of guys out there that are still stupid old and playing, but they're humble. Right. And they've changed their game. They've adapted their game to fit the team they're on or the situation they're in. Carmelo Anthony has not only not adapted, he's actually gotten worse. He's regressed since the player he was back in like 2000, let's say 7, 8.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, he's still doing 5-pump fakes, can't shoot as well. Defensively, he's a fucking New York turnstile. Like, you know what?
James Harden can laugh in his face on defense.
You know what else got drafted in 2003? Darko Milicic, okay? Kirk Heinrich, David West,
Yes.
Dante Jones.
All these guys are currently out of the league.
Right. Josh Howard. You know what else? Luke Walton, the coach
Of the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, he got drafted in 2003. So, in what world do you look at yourself and go, yeah, you know, I can still start?
Yeah, like maybe if you're LeBron James, but there's a reason why LeBron James is starting. He's a nano human. He's not real.
Yeah, he's a special person. He's chosen.
He's fucking Spider-Man. Like he's enhanced.
Right, exactly. So Carmelo, listen, you fat Puerto Rican, you need to fucking stop pretending you're a starter anymore. And just come off the bench and wave a towel like a decent bench warmer.
I'm trying to keep this as professional as possible, and you just took a shot right at the dick. Like, why would you do that? I'm like, I have nothing personal against Melo.
He's not in shape.
But basketball reasons, I'm like, yo, bro, nobody wants that game
He's
anymore,
got a zero
man.
pack, okay? Like,
And you know what's crazy? Like, there's so many like overly woke cats on Facebook that are like, oh, Melo, you know, he's doing this, that, and that in the community, and that's why he's not getting a job. Like, no, it's not. It's because he's basically a catch and shoot guy, but he has to give you 6 pump fakes and then like a back down towards the 2. Like it's his game just doesn't fit the league anymore.
nah. If he would to do like a Kyle Korver thing and just go in the corner and shoot threes, he'd be all right.
And Kyle Korver, like, he's never changed. Kyle Korver has never gone up or down in basketball. Like, he's probably been a little more athletic when he was younger.
Right.
But he's been the exact same player his whole career because he just does one thing really well. Catch the ball in the corner and shoot. Or pass to the guy that's open.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. He's not looking for him to play defense. He's not looking for him to rebound. He's going to make threes. That's
Exactly.
it.
Like he put it. He's like a place kicker in the
Yes.
NFL, in the NBA.
He's a very good place kicker. Melo does not even want to be a place kicker. It's like, we just need you to stand here and kick the ball, but no, you want to pick it up and run it to the end zone and fuck it up every time.
I mean, I've seen that dude like stand there and pump fake like 5 times, and the whole offense is like standing there like, yo,
Yeah.
what is this? You're not Kobe, dog. You know, so just let it go. Just,
Well, here's the thing. When Melo was at his height, he was basically James Harden. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, he was basically James. Like, he had a jump shot that could kill you. Can get to the basket. He was a decent rebounder. Nothing to really talk about on defense, but he was so good on offense that he changed the entire
Right.
shape of the game. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he was
teams had to draft around him to like, okay, we got to do something to stop Carmelo.
a 6'8" dead eye shooter with a big enough body to like push people off. Yeah. But I mean, James Harden is a special category. James Harden is an accident lawyer. That dude,
He's an ambulance chick. Salino and Barnes.
seriously,
injury
like that.
is-
That dude is always he's always trying to find some minor infraction. I can't. Anyway, I'm going off topic. But Carmelo, but my dude, you are a bench player now. You know he could star? He could star in the Big 3.
Yes.
Carmelo could play in the Big 3.
I think that would be best, actually. Like, I don't even think the G League is full of players that are like hungry and younger than him, so it's not necessarily better, but they're just gonna play harder than him.
Right.
And in the Big 3, like, that's cats your age, some younger, and like you gonna be out
Yeah,
there.
shoot over Mohamed Abdul Rauf.
Yeah, like,
you know?
you and Jay. Who's the dude that?
You versus Amari Stoudemire.
Not,
You know.
Who's their main guy? Joe Johnson. Like,
Right.
Yeah, Melo and Joe Johnson duking it out for MVP of the Big 3. I think he would crush out there.
That's funny. They have a similar game too. Joe Johnson, again, 6'8" dude, could drop buckets on people, but for some reason just doesn't understand how to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, and look where he is in the Big 3. So
Right.
Melo, you're like 2 inches taller than him. Go to the Big 3.
Right, Steve Francis, you play against those dudes.
Well, Steve Francis is there because this is his last chance to make any money of any kind. Steve Francis mellowed more than Melo.
Right.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
All right, is that just it? We just came to an abrupt halt on Melo. Like, Big 3, that should be it. And
No, I really think so. I mean, he's not getting looks. Look, other cats are getting looks. Don't say that. Other cats are getting looks, but I don't think he's. I think take that Syracuse championship. Take those gold medals, and call it a career, dog. I mean,
he really should. Like, he's got money, I guess. I mean, he shouldn't be broke, but he's. I feel like he's got a very serious divorce looming. So.
Oh, but that's cool because I've always had a thing for Lala Vasquez.
Good luck with that, Kevin.
Hey, I'm only 2 inches shorter than him.
Yeah.
So hey, if you like 6'8" Melo, how about 6'6" Kevin? How about that, baby?
Well,
and we're both Caribbean.
Yeah.
Right? He's from Puerto Rico. Well, he's half Puerto Rican. I did call him a fat Puerto Rican.
He's not from Puerto Rico, bro. He's from Brooklyn.
Sorry if I call you a fat Puerto Rican. I apologize. But yeah,
Coney Island, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Lala, me and Lala, have always had, I don't know.
Shoot your shot, Kevin. I'll just sit back.
Lala Vasquez, if you're listening to this podcast, my name is Kevin Munroe. I'm a Gemini. And what I like everything and everybody because I like people who like everybody and everything.
Why'd you turn into somebody's weird ass uncle at the end of that shot, man? Cause I like things and everybody. Ooh, God damn, girl.
Because
looks so good, I want to just put you on a plate and sop you up with a biscuit.
Because one of the best, worst shoot your shot records ever was the Floaters. Float On. That's a classic. And old Negroes who are listening to this will know that the Floaters were the greatest. Because all they had, the whole record was these dudes just just
I'm gonna just go ahead and move on topics while you're queuing up the the transitional music.
Yeah.
Float on.
Cancer. And my name is Larry. And I like a woman that likes everything and everybody because I like everybody and everything.
I love how you started to put a little lisp in there like, hello, this is the ladies' man. How's everyone? I like everyone and everybody. Hey, baby, can I buy you a fish sandwich?
I'm like, has this shit ever worked?
One last topic, Kevin. Come on, man.
Even in the 70s. Okay, all right, fine. Sorry.
Moving on. We have to get a little serious, talk a little bit of politics besides the usual. This week in Trump, I guess.
Right? Yeah, that's right. So
that becomes a segment whether you like it or not, because if you don't say something about this week in Trump, that motherfucker will do something stupid.
Yeah, there's 12,000 things that have already happened.
Just happened.
Okay, so this guy, Kevin Cuccinelli, who's the acting director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, was asked if the poem on the Statue of Liberty still applies. And he says, oh, yeah, give me your tired and your poor who can stand on their own 2 feet and who will not become a public charge.
Whoa. It's written on a goddamn statue in bronze. You don't get to footnote this shit.
Yeah, exactly. What they're trying to do is, people like me, like an immigrant, a poor immigrant like myself, they're trying to, not let us come in. They're like, you have to have a certain amount of finance and all that, which is ridiculous. The reason we came to America is because we're fucking poor. We want opportunity.
That's very veiled racism, but why don't you continue to say why it becomes unveiled racism?
Yeah, because it's obviously targeted at people. I mean,
no, I'm saying that's not the only thing he said, right?
No, that's the main part.
No, that's the main part. But he also said they were talking about when they met the immigrants and said, "Give me your tired, you're poor, you're hungry." He said, "Oh, but they were talking about European immigrants mostly."
Oh, I didn't get that part.
You didn't see that dog whistle?
No, I didn't see that.
No, I remember.
That's not a dog whistle. That's a shout.
Yeah, that's a dog bark. So he basically just outright said, "Look, we're not looking for brown immigrants," and that is complete bullshit. That is just why is it that the whiter you are, you get a pass. If you guys, if you're gonna be racist, you're gonna be racist. But if you're gonna say it's about immigration, be consistent.
Right.
There's a whole culture of Russian women getting pregnant in Russia and coming to America to have their babies, so that they're born with dual citizenship.
Yeah, some of them are related to the president.
Who would have thought?
So this is the actual poem that is. I'm gonna end with this. This is the actual poem that is on the Statue of Liberty. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air bridge harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, you storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
That was beautiful, even though it didn't rhyme.
Except Mexicans.
and Puerto Rican. Well, they're not immigrating.
And Puerto Ricans.
Like, but they're not even immigrating. That's the fuck. They're citizens. They're already citizens. But who cares?
I can't.
Unless they're Mexican or Trinidad or
these people are so ridiculous.
Like, what the fuck, bro? Like they're not even trying. Remember when they at least tried to fake like they weren't racist? Now they're not even trying.
Nah. They, like, after Obama, they're like, nah, fuck it. We gave
y'all 8 years. We gonna be real now. Fuck this shit. Like, listen, you niggas have had enough
enough free time.
You guys have had enough smiles and shit. We're going back to the way we're making America great again. Goddamn it, we're going back to you guys making all our shit and not being happy anymore, so we can watch NASCAR and be proud of ourselves for being inferior, even though we're safer. I'm getting off on a tangent here.
No, it's just hilarious. Like we're gonna turn back the Statue of Liberty now.
Yeah.
Like, and this motherfucker's name, Cuccinelli. You're Italian. How the fuck do you think you came here? Across the Bering Strait?
Well, he's a European immigrant, so there you go.
You didn't come across the Bering Strait. You came in the 1900s where they didn't even ask Italians or Irish people for passports. All they asked them for was either a sponsor, or B, to be an adult in good standing. That's it. No fucking papers at all. That's how your great-grandparents came here.
I challenge you folks to find a stupider thing said this year, and I guarantee you can do it.
We still got a couple months left, so it's gonna happen.
I guarantee you can do it in the next 2 days. Look who's in charge. Trust me, this dude wouldn't have made the news if it wasn't even close to what the main man is up to all the time. But we're just about out of time, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and do you have anything that you'd like to plug, Kevin? Besides this music that we do not own the rights to.
My name is Kevin Munroe. I'm a Gemini, and what I like is a woman who's a wildflower.
If you laugh, it's gonna go even worse than if you did it perfectly.
Old ass game.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we have a couple things coming up. We're trying to get a show started at the Hollywood Improv.
Improv. Let's get this working.
Yeah. So that's. You know, stay tuned.
Yeah, support the show so you can later support our show at the Hollywood Improv, and or Kevin's show, whoever that is. He didn't tell me about it. So.
It's coming.
Good luck. I'm going to be out of town soon. I'm going to be at the Sacramento Punchline with the very funny Ron Taylor and my good friend Andrew Orlofo hosting all weekend at the Sacramento Punchline, August 29th through September 1st. And then back here in LA, I will be at Crack 'em Up Thursdays in the Belly Room on September 12th.
That's what's up.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Tune in again. Same black time, same black channel. Thank you very much. Peace.
Lord of mercy.